Okay, so for today's podcast episode, I have a good friend of mine. His name is Jeff. And I'm not going to say too much. I'll let him introduce himself. But otherwise, I'll send it over to you, Jeff.
Leo, man, thanks for having me on, bro. It's always an honor to chat with a fellow evidence-based coach. And dude, I love the content you've been putting out lately, man. You've been cranking out the reels like nuts. So I love that. I've been so my name's Jeff Pachtman. You guys can check me out on Instagram at Jeff Pachtman Fitness. And I've been a coach since about 2017. So not very long. But I'm new to the online coaching space. It's only been a couple years. I started out as a chef. I actually was a chef for about 16 years before I got into the fitness industry. And so just kind of wanted to bridge the gap between nutrition and fitness and training. And I learned so much along my own journey and my own path that I wanted to learn how to coach others to do it just because I had so many people in my life who struggled with weight, who struggled with their relationship with food. So I figured, hey, if I can fix mine, then maybe I can help other people. And, that's been somewhat the case. Obviously, I'm still learning, I'm still growing as a coach every day, but um, that's been the goal since day one, and it's been a lot of fun.
Okay, yeah, I love that. That actually a few things you mentioned actually brings up a few questions that I've had in mind. Not all related to fitness. I wanted to ask, which state are you based in the US?
I'm in Oregon.
Oregon.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, West Coast.
And you're born and raised there?
No, I was born and raised in California. Um, I funny story. I didn't even know Oregon existed before before I moved here. Um, I was from California. And it's funny is Oregon's one state above California,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah, yeah, yeah.
growing up in California, nobody talked about Oregon ever. It was
Wow.
like it was like it didn't exist. I didn't even look at a map and realize that Oregon was even there. I was just like, no, people live there. But funny enough, I ended up moving here when I was like 16, 17 years old. So yeah, I came up here and I love it, man. It's awesome state. Lots of nature, lots of fun stuff to do. So definitely if you're an outdoorsy type person, Oregon is awesome, awesome place.
Yeah, I've heard good things about it because I would say I didn't know anything about US states before maybe 2018 because that's when
Yeah.
I actually released a podcast on this the other day. I done an exchange year at the University of Vermont. I was like so as I was applying because I always knew that I wanted to do an exchange year in the US, but before going I knew nothing about US states. And before going I was like, all right, you know what, just give me anything. I looked at the list and I was like, and I didn't do anything more than a few Google searches. I probably should have done a bit more. Um, and yeah, I know, right? And I was like, I was like, yeah, all right. So by the end of the day, I had three down. I was like, yeah, University of Georgia. Or no, it was a university near Georgia, in Atlanta. It's like University of Vermont. And I was like, yeah, Washington sounds good. So yeah, US capital. Anyway, it turns out they've got a Washington state. And that just blew my mind. I was like, all right, so I was about to go to the whole other side of the country. But anyway, I ended up at Vermont. And in Vermont, that's where I learned a lot about US states. And then now I would
Yeah.
say I'm quite comfortable with the geography of it all.
Man, there's so many states and there's so many like places to go see and check out. And I'll be the first to tell you most of them are not worth seeing. But there are like quite a few states and awesome things that I would recommend checking out. And the West Coast is definitely beautiful. And I love the beaches that we have over here on the West Coast, and I love the nature and the mountains and along the Pacific range. Like the Pacific Northwest has some of the most amazing, like diverse landscapes.
I've heard.
So yeah, like Washington State
Yeah.
especially, amazing. They have this place called I think it's called the Umpqua National Forest. I went there a couple summers ago, and it's like a rainforest in the middle of Washington,
Oh,
but
no.
it's amazing, bro. Like if you like hiking and you like getting out into nature and just experiencing different areas, like Oregon and Washington are where it's at for that.
Yeah, I've heard. I've heard of Washington. Yeah. And yeah,
Yeah.
two good states for that. Have you ever been to the East Coast?
I've been to New York and I've been to Florida, and then recently took a trip to Philadelphia. My brother moved over there. So
Oh,
um
nice.
yeah, so those are, I still have family in New York and Long Island, and then I have family in Miami as well.
Nice. Did you ever
All
think?
my fam all my family's from the East Coast. Like both my parents are from New York, and
Okay.
so originally, like I have a bunch of East Coasters for family members, so I get along with East Coasters really well.
Yeah, I've never been to the West Coast. I'd love to experience it someday.
Oh
Yeah.
man, it's cool. It's cool. You'll like it.
Yeah, I've heard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard good things. Anyway, and you brought up another point that I actually wanted to ask you about. I've had a few questions for you for a while, but I guess we've just never had the chance to speak about it.
All
Why?
right, let's go.
Why? So I was going to say why Chef Jeff, Chef Jeff. I guess now I know, but maybe you could speak about that a little bit more.
Yeah, like why is like my YouTube channel, Chef Jeffrey's Kitchen?
Mm,
So, okay, so when I originally started like all my social media accounts, I originally had like an idea to post recipes and do like a chef type account and just show people how to make recipes and how to do things really easily. And it was fun. Like I liked it. I ended up growing uh on YouTube pretty well like from that. And I had a like quite a big following on Instagram from that as well. And eventually I got sick of it, man. I got sick of it and was like, I just want to I want at that time I was a personal trainer and I wanted to get into coaching more and I wanted to get into the online space. So I literally took that account and started posting fitness content and still posted some recipes and some meal ideas and stuff like that. Lately I've gotten away from that, but I realized that that's definitely a skill that I need to use to help people. So, I mean, I've spent, you know, almost half my life in the kitchen. So
mm,
it's like I might as well use those skills that I do have to help people who struggle with meal prep and creating healthy recipes at home. So I definitely use that to my advantage. I have a Facebook group that I try to keep up with and kind of help people in there with meal prep ideas and things like that. So, yeah, it's definitely a part of my education, I'd say, is like I try to teach people how to make recipes that are calorie friendly, high protein, that, they could stick to and not feel so deprived in a calorie deficit.
okay.
Yeah.
So would you say cooking is still a passion of yours, or would you just say you're
Yeah.
good at it now, or both?
Yeah, 100%. It'll always be a passion of mine. I just don't want to do it for work, like
Mm,
it takes the fun out of it for me. Like if I can have 5 to 10 friends over and prep a bunch of food and like have a dinner party or like, have some really good food and prepare it for just friends and family, I love that. But if it's just doing like endless amounts of repetitive cooking on a line, I'm not into that anymore. I'm done with that. Last year, I actually left my full-time kitchen job to go full-time with my business. So,
okay.
um, yeah, yeah.
Where were you working? Like which restaurant?
So it's not a big chain. It's here in Central Oregon. It's called Kebaba. So it's a Middle Eastern place.
Mm,
Um, they specialized in like kind of like large plate Middle Eastern style dishes. So you got, different types of shawarmas, different kinds of kebab plates. Really, really good. They ended up closing this year. Um, so unfortunate, but one of the best like Middle Eastern restaurants I've had here in Oregon.
okay. Well, if I
Yeah.
ever go, then I know I have to check it out.
Yeah. Well, they're closed now.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah. They just closed. Yeah.
oh, well,
Yeah.
so speaking about the content that you were, talking about putting out, etc. What's your, just out of curiosity, what's your favorite type of content to make?
Uh, damn, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. I think it's always changing. I think my favorite kind of content is just content where I'm answering people's questions. Like if someone has a basic question and I can try to answer it in the most clear and concise way, and then that helps more people, then that's kind of my goal.
Mm,
I think another piece of content that I really enjoy making is more the psychology of fat loss and like the psychology of weight loss because we know what to do. Most people know what to do. They know they need to eat less and move more, but it's more complicated than that. And there's a lot of psychology and um, a lot of mindset that goes into this. And so kind of digging a little bit more into that side of my content lately and not just posting this is how to calculate your calorie deficit, like, but more so posting like, hey, this is how you overcome your self-limiting beliefs. Like this is how you know, transform your negative mindset around the scale. This is how you repair your relationship with food. Like just things like that I find are more fun for me to talk about because that stuff's going to help people more than just how many this is how to find your calories.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And obviously, like, correct me if I'm wrong, but I definitely found this to be the case for myself. But maybe when you, I assume maybe like in your first few months of being a coach or just before you started being a coach, I can say I certainly didn't realize how much of a role psychology played. But obviously, the more I educated myself, I was like, wow, this is like maybe the biggest thing.
Yeah. Yeah. It is, man. Another guy in the fitness business mentorship that I'm in and you're also in.
Oh, both in, yeah. That's how we met each other.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how I met you. And there's another guy in there named Daniel Rosenthal or
Hmm.
Rosentrain on Instagram.
Yeah, I've spoken to him a few times.
Yeah, really, really awesome guy, man. I had him on my podcast and something he said which stuck with me, which I'll forever like use it. I stole it from him, is weight loss is 90% mindset.
Mm, yeah.
And I was like, I had to think about that one because I was like, is that true? But then I thought about it and I was like, yeah, 10% of it is like maybe learning how many calories to eat and like how to like strategies to get in more protein or get your steps in or strength training. That's such a small percent. The other like 90% is really like overcoming your mindset to help you put these things into place long term. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And I think a lot of people, I think sometimes some people can hear that and just think it's just bullshit. It's a bit overrated. Like, who cares about mindset? Or it could sound a bit cliche. But I remember I was having that conversation with some coaches from them that, we both know as well. And yeah, it seems to obviously be a recurring theme throughout. And I've always noticed from my personal experiences that the people I work with, or who, or people I come across, maybe not even necessarily work with, but they'll speak about themselves consistently, very negatively in
Yeah.
regard to whether how they can't achieve their goal. It's too hard. They can't do it. They're the ones who don't do it. And that's not a coincidence. That's because they end up identifying with what they keep saying out loud and the way they keep thinking. Whereas if you've got, the other group who are like, yeah, no, you know what, this is actually not so bad. I say, I'm celebrating my small wins. It's no surprise they are the group that ends up making quite good, very good progress.
Yeah. 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 Another coach who's a friend of mine said is like the clients that he has that do the best are the ones who can practice gratitude.
Man, that's so true.
Yeah.
That's so true. That, like, I need to make a YouTube video or a little module or something, like, even if it's a 2-minute YouTube video on that, because I think a lot of people just don't fully think about how important that is.
Gratitude is the hardest thing to put into practice because we think that we should just like wake up and just be grateful. And 99% of people don't wake up and just beaming with gratitude. It's like we wake up and we're like, oh shit, I gotta answer my emails. I gotta get the coffee going. I gotta take the dog out. I gotta do this. Oh, okay. Phone starts going off. Okay. Da 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 da. Oh shit, I'm late for a meeting. Okay. Gotta get in the car. Oh, fucking traffic, and then it's like you're not grateful. You're not practicing gratitude. That's okay. Like most people aren't. 99% of people aren't. But when you can actually think of it as an exercise, that's when you can actually start to improve your capability of practicing gratitude. And I'm the first one to tell you that I suck at this. I
Mm,
suck at it. but I'm working on it and I'm aware. The first step is awareness, realizing that you suck at it. And then the next step is, okay, what exercises can I do each and every single day to cultivate some gratitude? Because I know I'm going to show up as a better person for my fitness, for my friends, for my family, for my loved ones. I'm going to maybe think less about myself and more about how I can help others. And that just makes you a better fucking person, not just in your fitness, but it makes everything easier.
It definitely does. And I know you listening can't see my facial expression right now, but man, throughout that entire time, I was just nodding my head because Jeff, you nailed it. And I definitely agree. It's something that I would say it's something I've been getting better at as well. Because it wasn't really something I'd think much about before. Because yeah, I was that person who just didn't really care for it. But yeah, now it's definitely something I think more of along the lines of, I get to do this or I get to do that. Like this is good. I get to experience this. Or just even having the breakfast here peacefully, with my dogs, with my grandparents. That's amazing because I know one day I'll miss it.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Like one day you'll be like, "Oh man, those were good times." What's crazy is I think back on times when I was like, "Man, those were really, really good times." And in the moment, I wasn't thinking that. I was just like, "I wish I had more of this. I wish I was here. I wish I was there. I wish I was anywhere but where I am at." And I read a quote this morning and it was basically saying, "Don't compare your insides with other people's outsides."
Mm, mm,
And I think that's so important because we will constantly be thinking the grass is greener on the other side. If I can just get, my this many clients, if I can just get my business to this point, if I can just find the perfect mate, the perfect partner in life, if I can just make this much money, if I can just lose this much weight, then I'll finally be happy. But the truth of the matter is that you can choose to be happy right now. It's a choice. It is a choice.
mm.
So, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's a big one. Yeah, it's definitely something that I've been looking into a lot more nowadays. But anyway, going quickly on a slightly off topic, and I mentioned the dog.
Mhm.
I've seen you've got a dog now as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I've got a puppy. His name's Mello. He's uh he's about 4.5 months old. He's a golden retriever,
I was gonna
English
ask.
cream. So he's like the really, really white colored golden. Yeah, he's great, man. He's helped me a lot with gratitude.
Yeah, he is. I've seen him in your story a few times, and any dog on any story, I'm stopping for it. Like, yeah, and when I see your dog, and I'm just like, oh, that is a cute dog. Like,
Yeah.
he's yeah, well, cute. How's it like
Yeah.
owning a dog?
You know what, man? I've had dogs like all my life, but I uh I waited until like my family has had dogs all my life. I have I this is like my first time really like making the commitment and being like, okay, I've got the time. I'm working from home. Cause like before, man, I was in the kitchen. Like we're talking 12-hour days and then I've got other things I need to do outside of work. So like I can't do that to an animal, just leave them locked up all day. So when I started my online business, I was like, okay, I'm gonna get this business to this point where it's sustainable, and then I'm gonna get a dog because I love animals.
Mm,
So I got him. It was kind of a last minute kind of decision, and I best decision I ever made, man. He's been amazing.
mm,
Um, since day one, he has been like I'll say he brings way more joy into my life than I would have expected. Like
mm,
just constantly in a good mood. He's a good dog. He doesn't chew my stuff up. He's not one of those dogs that's really high energy and always is bugging you and chewing on you and bothering you. He really he finds his toys, he goes and does his own thing, and then when you take him on a walk, he gets super excited and he's always ready to walk. But so he helps me get my steps in, right? And he wakes me up early, so I don't have any excuse to sleep in. I'm pretty much up at 5 with him. Lately I've been sleeping in because I'm trying to get more hours of sleep, but But yeah, man, he's great. He doesn't bark, he doesn't bother me. He's just really, really chill dog.
How's the house training?
Good, man. He in the beginning he peed in the house like maybe a handful of times, but now he just walks over to the sliding door, and I know as soon as he walks over to the sliding door, he needs to go out. So like every 3, 4 hours, he'll just let me know he needs to go out, and I'll let him out. So, I've only woken up to a few surprises a couple times, but yeah, he's good, dude. He's really, really well behaved.
Yeah, dog is yeah, it's the best company ever. And I think people who don't have a dog or have never had a dog, I don't think they can fully understand what it's like to have a dog and the connection you build with it, or with your dog until you have one. Because it's like you said, man, it's just it's like it becomes it's like your best friend.
Yeah. Yeah. And what's nice about having a dog is like people who are like, I'm not a dog person. I'm not a dog person. It's like you almost know from the beginning that you're probably not gonna be close with that person, or like
Mm,
you and that person's personalities probably don't mesh very well.
mm.
Because as a dog person, I love other dog people, and our personalities just seem to mesh well. Like if somebody was like, "Yeah, I don't really like your dog," I'd probably be like, "I don't like you."
Yeah, yeah, for real. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I have because I have three dogs here, and I'm always just playing around with them, especially one of them. Because one of them is just obsessed with me, and I love him for it. It's a German Shepherd, and yeah, and he will follow me everywhere, and it's the coolest
Yeah,
thing. And when I'm just here, if I'm here writing an article, for example, he'll sit here and he'll lie by my feet until I'm done, and yeah, it's very cute. And
yeah,
just like that with gratitude, I really love that. Yeah, it's an amazing thing to have. But
yeah.
go on. Did you want to say
Oh
something?
yeah, no, I was just gonna say like Mello, my golden man, he makes it onto my gratitude list almost every single day when I'm writing on my list. He's up there on one of the top ones for sure because uh yeah, like I mean literally just as somebody that's always happy to see you and doesn't talk back, doesn't give you any issues. Like, it's just chill. Just your road dog, your partner, man. And that's like if anyone listening to this is on the fence whether they should get a dog or not, definitely get a dog.
Mm,
Definitely do it.
yeah, yeah. Especially if you have the time for it and you know you can
Yeah.
give it good attention.
Exactly. Yeah. That's the main part. Make sure that you have time for it.
Yeah, I do think that some people might be a little bit quick with getting it, and then because getting a dog is another job almost, and in a way, like you do have to dedicate. I think some people underestimate how much time they have to dedicate to a dog, but again, it is worth
Yeah.
it, 100% worth it if you do have the time.
Yeah, they're a lot of work in the beginning, especially. And then once you get them to a good routine, they're not quite as much work. It's more like, all right, take them on a walk, feed them, walk
Mm,
them, it's not that
mm,
much work. Yeah.
Yeah, so I noticed you said you mentioned a gratitude list. How long have you been doing that
Mhm.
for, and how's that working for you?
Honestly,
I don't get that.
so like I said, I'm not the best with gratitude. Like, and I'll be one of the first to admit that. Um, I don't take time out of my day to like really think about what I'm grateful for. But over the last, like I'll say 2022 has been kind of a main focus of mine has been gratitude. And I have noticed for like my own personal mental health, it has improved pretty drastically just from writing a few things down each morning. So sometimes, well, I first started out, I had a Google Doc and it said, "How's my mental health?" was the name of it. And I would put the date and I would ramble on, just write, however many words, just talk about how I'm feeling
Mm,
and how my mental health is that day, and talk about maybe some things that happened the day before, what I'm grateful for. And then I'd literally write a list of things that I'm grateful for.
mm,
And, sometimes it's just three things, and that's okay. It doesn't need to be like a 20 list thing. I think the main thing when you're writing a gratitude list is to think about why you're grateful for that thing.
mm.
Because
Yeah.
if you just put, "Oh, I'm grateful for coffee," right? Great. that's very awesome. But do you feel that gratitude? Because it's a feeling. It's a
Mm.
feeling. Do you really feel grateful for coffee? Maybe you're grateful for coffee because it helps you show up a little bit more alert to your um, phone call that you're going to be taking with your grandma, or maybe you're grateful for coffee because you had a poor night's sleep because you're stressing over a job interview, and the coffee is going to help you like be more alert and get the job that you want to get, right? So it's like thinking about why you're grateful for those things, I think is important. So I also think about why I'm grateful for those things.
Okay, yeah, because I can't say I do a list right now, but I've been recommended to do it, and I wouldn't rule it out. I guess it's just doing it. That's where I'm at with it.
Yeah.
I probably should just start. Um,
Yeah, I recommend you get a journal.
yeah, I
And
think
actually,
writing it down would be even. I'll probably like feel it even more. I don't know how Zen. Like, I probably sound really hippie right now, but
so I got a journal like right next to my workstation.
mm,
And although I could type it all out, I like to write it down just because like it's a reminder. Like I have a bright red journal right next to my workstation. So I look at this thing and I'm like, okay, boom, what am I grateful for? How's my mental health? And then I move on. Like, and you may be like, oh, that sounds pointless. Like, what's the point of doing that? You're basically, there's actually research behind this. You're actually rewiring neurons in your brain to help you think more positively. And it actually helps you show up as a better person in your relationships, in your work, in your personal life. So there's more and more research coming out that shows that journaling, gratitude journaling, and meditation, sitting in silence for a short period of time per day, will improve your mental health pretty
mm,
drastically. And since we know that weight loss is 90% mindset, improving your mental health is going to help you with any goal that you have.
mm, yeah, yeah, I agree. And I think meditation is another underrated one because I did that consistently. I haven't done it for a while, but there was a phase. I wouldn't even say it was just a phase. It was quite a long time. I was meditating like every morning, first thing, 10 minutes. And I think that made a huge difference. I
Yeah.
don't I remember I stopped because I moved house and then my routine suddenly changed and I just never went back into it. But yeah, it's definitely something that I could get back onto. Well, I should. It's definitely a good thing.
Yeah. I mean, I think it just start with, even if it's not 10 minutes, start with like 2 minutes. I think most people can do 2 minutes. For me, when I first started, my attention span was so bad that I did like 30 seconds.
Okay. Yeah, it's better. 30 seconds still better than nothing, though. Did
Yeah,
you use an app?
I did 30 seconds and eventually worked my way up to 10 minutes, and now 10 minutes it goes by pretty quickly, and might be increasing that to like 12 minutes or 15 minutes pretty soon. I was doing 20 minutes and I even worked my way up to 30 minutes per day. But
Oh,
now I took a break and now that just feels like too much. So I really, really like the 10 minutes. It feels sustainable. It feels like I could do that for years and years and years. So I might just stick with that.
hmm.
Yeah.
Do you use an app for it?
I do. Yeah. It's called Medito, Medito.
Okay.
Um, I like that app because I've tried other ones like Insight Timer and I forget the other like mainstream one. There's another really big mainstream one, but
Calm.
anyways, which one?
Is it called Calm?
Calm is another one. There's
That's the
another
one I
one.
used.
Yeah, anyways. Medito is good because it's free
Okay.
and it's you can set how long you want the guided meditation to be. What I like about their guided meditations is that the guy doesn't talk the entire time. You know, it's like he says maybe two or three sentences for the whole 10 minutes and just kind of reminds you to come back to your breath. And then after the 10 minutes is up, he says, we're coming close to the end of the meditation. And then he says, we'll see you next time. That's
Hmm.
it. So it's really simple, but there's new daily meditations every single day, and there's only two choices to pick from. There's not like an endless amount of different meditations that open up your heart chakras and stuff. It's just like it's two meditations on there. So I like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna check it out
Yeah,
100%.
check it out. It's a good one.
Yeah. And so rewinding a little bit, and this was I was actually going to ask you about this earlier, but then we went in such a different topic, or down such a different route, I should say. So
Hmm.
obviously, being a chef, and I know my friend listening right now would have definitely probably knows my opinions on the following nutrition approaches because I've made podcasts on them before. So I'll ask you about a few, and then you can just tell me about what you think of them. So,
Sure.
what do you think of intermittent fasting?
Okay, that's an interesting one. I've been doing more intermittent fasting lately. Um, I think it can be a useful tool for someone who wants to simplify their nutrition in a calorie deficit. So if you are somebody who has a good relationship with food and it doesn't cause binging or overeating issues, I think skipping breakfast and then pushing your first meal back to like 12 p.m., 1 o'clock can be really, really useful, especially when calories get lower. It doesn't work for everyone, and just like anything else in fitness and nutrition, there's no one size fits all approach. So just because it works for me doesn't mean that it's going to work for everyone.
Mm. So
Yeah.
yeah, I would say the same. I'm a fan of it for me personally.
Hmm.
I find it works very well for me when my calories get quite low.
Yeah.
Because I kind of like I don't know if this is the right word, but I find when I do something consistently for a while, I find there's no longer the need for it. So usually, like for breakfast right now, I get super hungry around breakfast time because I'm usually having a big breakfast. But I know when I start intermittent fasting and I maybe put my meal to around first meal, maybe 1 p.m. I suddenly don't get hungry at breakfast time anymore after maybe the
Yeah.
first week. And yeah,
Yeah.
so I'm kind of like I can kind of train myself to not get feel hungry after during breakfast time. And I find intermittent fasting maybe after the first few days feel a little bit harder, but then after that it feels very
Yeah.
straightforward and it helps.
Yeah. I think it takes about, maybe a week for me
Mm,
to stop feeling that hunger because I love breakfast. Like I love eating a big breakfast. If my goals are like maintenance or a surplus, I'm eating a big breakfast for sure. I like the way it feels. I like training. Uh, I like training after like I digest my breakfast with some good carbs in there. Um, I do like the way breakfast makes you feel, and it definitely gives you energy for the day for sure.
mm.
Um, when calories get lower though, I'd rather be hungry in the morning and like mid-afternoon than be hungry at night.
I agree.
Cause in a calorie deficit, you're gonna be hungry anyways.
Yeah,
So you
just
got to be okay with that. And if you do better with being hungry in the morning than being hungry later at night, I think nighttime is where we make the worst decisions because we're tired.
mm,
So for me, if I have a full belly with carbs, proteins, and fats, and then I have a little dessert on top of that, I'm good. I don't need to do any more binging or, check the cupboard for anything else. I've hit my calories, my protein, my fiber, all that good stuff, so I'm good.
yeah, yeah. I would 100% say I can relate. What do you think
Yeah.
of what do you think of keto?
Um, Keto's a tough one because there's a lot of keto bashers out there, especially in the fitness industry. And I don't think that keto is sustainable for most people, but
Mm,
I also have seen some, like, anecdotally, I have seen some clients and friends of mine do very well on keto, and they improve some of their health markers and things like their fasting, insulin, and improved their insulin resistance and things like that. So I have seen people lose a lot of weight and be able to keep it off long term on keto. I'd say that for the majority of people, it's probably not something I'd recommend. I do have I think I have one or two clients. Yeah, I have two clients right now who are doing keto, and because they want to do it, they enjoy it. I'm not going to tell them, hey, you can't do keto, even though you enjoy it and even though it
mm,
feels like the right thing for you. and it's what you can stick to. I think everyone's different, and so I used to be very dogmatic and say keto is bullshit,
Mm.
and everyone needs to be eating carbs. But the truth of the matter is like it works for some people.
Yeah, I would agree. It's like, yeah, I would 100% say for the strong majority, it's going to be a very tough way to live their life. But then you do get a small minority that it just works well for, and it is
Yeah.
what it is. And and then who am I to say that they should or shouldn't do it? It's totally up to them. And again, it's like you said, as long as it's healthy and it doesn't take over every waking moment of their life, they can sustain it. Then that's the most important things. And yeah, go for it.
Yeah. I think where I think people really, really like to be dogmatic in the fitness industry. And
Mm.
so it's really easy to jump on the bandwagon of, this like either pro keto or anti keto. And it's like, we all know that one coach who like, he only makes content bashing on keto. And it's like, dude, figure out something else to talk about. It's like,
Mm.
there's other shit to talk about, okay? Like some people enjoy keto, leave them alone, like it's all good. I think there was a lot more people doing keto in like 2018, 2019 than there are now. I think it
It's
kind of
declined
blew
in
over.
popularity. Yeah, I think the
Yeah.
popularity has gone down.
Yeah, I think it kind of blew over. It was really, really big for a while. And now what's
Now it's
crazy is people are doing carnivore now.
that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Organ meats, carnivore. That's what's getting really popular now.
Yeah, and I noticed there's a lot of content around carnivore. There's a lot of content demonizing like seed oils. Have
Yeah,
you seen that?
I
Yeah,
have. Yeah.
there's a ton of this stuff, and I think a lot of it is from this guy Paul Saladino, who's like the
Oh yeah,
carnivore MD.
I've heard of
Yeah,
him.
yeah. And to be honest, I don't know enough about the carnivore diet. To me, it kind of sounds disgusting,
Yeah,
but
as well.
I I don't see myself doing it anytime
And
soon.
yeah.
But if people are doing it and they feel like they can stick with it, and they're checking their lipid profiles and their blood tests and whatever, man, do whatever works for you.
Oh yeah, and this is me. This is in Portugal eats a lot of meat. The people I'm living in Portugal, and
Hmm.
yeah, here this is a big meat country or fish country, seafood. It's a big staple, but and I would say I do eat a lot, but even then, yeah, I don't think carnivore. I can't say I look at carnivore and just think, oh, I'd love to try that.
No, dude, I love vegetables and I love fruit.
Yeah, and that.
And I guess so. I guess one thing I would add is like how do you build muscle on carnivore? You know?
Hmm.
Because like there's no carbohydrates coming in, and so I don't know. I just feel like my training would absolutely suck on like carnivore or keto, and I would probably need like some form of carbohydrates, whether from the form of like fruit or something like that. So I like carbohydrates,
Oh
and
yeah,
I like
that's
just
cool.
I like just eating a mixed like balanced diet. And I used to be vegan. I used to be plant based
I remember. Yeah,
for yeah for quite a while, and I just found that like having a balanced approach to nutrition is the way to go for
yeah,
someone like me. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And you know what? Going back to keto, I think I think where it gets a little bit unfortunate as well, I don't know if that's the right word, but and bashing it definitely isn't the right way. But I think the issue with keto for a lot of people is that I think a lot of people think that it's the only way to lose fat.
Ah, yeah,
Yeah, so I think that's where there's a lot of maybe that's I think that's where a lot of the controversy around it comes from. I would
right.
say
There's like a lot of
coming to my
confusion
mind.
around keto.
Yeah, that's
There's
only crossed my mind now.
I think you're right. And I think people see really fast results with keto because they see the scale dropping so fast because they're losing a lot of glycogen
Mm.
from way less carbohydrates in their system. And of course you're going to lose weight on keto. Like of course. Of course.
You just cut out an
Um
entire food group.
Yeah, exactly. You just cut out an entire macronutrient. Of course, you're going to lose weight. A lot of that is muscle glycogen. Like we hold a lot of water weight and muscle glycogen in our bodies.
Mm.
And so it's not uncommon for somebody to lose 20, 40 pounds in their first couple months on keto. And then I think that sparks a positive feedback loop, and so
Oh
they keep
yeah.
they keep going on it because, and this is why it may work for some people, because some people get really, really motivated by those quick results, and so they're willing to do things more restrictive, and they're willing to cut things out that make their life enjoyable in order to see results. But the problem is with keto is like, what's the exit plan? Like, do
Mm.
you
That's
have an
another good
exit
point.
plan?
Yeah,
Are
that's
you
another
planning
good point.
are you planning on sticking on keto for the rest of your life? Because if you are, then cool, you don't need an exit plan, right? But for most people, they're probably gonna want to eat some fucking cake at their daughter's birthday. They're probably gonna want to have some fucking fruit. You know, they go to Mexico and a fresh mango drops off a tree. You know, they're probably gonna want to eat that. You know, it's like you're gonna miss out on. Or you go to Italy, you can't have pasta, you can't have pizza. Like, there's so many things you're missing out on in life if you don't eat carbohydrates. So I think for the vast majority of people, keto is probably not the way to go.
You know what? Talking about that rapid, to extend on that point you made about rapid weight loss, yeah, definitely I would agree. I think a lot of people just get super excited from that initial water weight loss that they see. Obviously, they think is fat loss because they I guess they don't know any better. But and this really the first time, because this was the first time I had like a friend who I knew, someone personally I knew was doing keto that I was often hanging out with,
Mm.
and I remember this was like when they made a comment, and then it was in my head. I was like, shit, like I know exact. I know the thought process behind it, but I didn't even know whether I should say it to him because I might just be like sound like that guy, like that annoying guy. So I just left it. But he was saying, and this is when I was like, okay, I have to think about that in future content as well. It's like carbs make me fat because the moment I eat, when I've been doing keto, I'll lose weight super quickly. But the moment I eat a carbohydrate, my weight spikes up super quickly. And I
Mm.
was like, okay, and obviously me and you know why, because it's a lot of water weight fluctuations going on there, but people will obviously see that and then think, shit, it makes me gain fat that quickly.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly, dude. Exactly. So, but you didn't say anything to him?
I don't remember what I said. This was
Yeah.
a long time ago.
Okay. Because I think the coach in me would want to say something, especially if it was a friend of mine. But
He
here's
was
another.
stubborn. He was stubborn. That was another bit of
Uh,
context.
uh,
One of those guys. I was like, maybe he just has to learn from experience because I'll probably get
yeah.
shut down.
And another thing too is like, I think if people don't ask your opinion, they don't ask
Yeah,
you if they don't ask you a question, like general rule of thumb is like I don't offer advice to people who don't ask my
yeah, same.
opinion on stuff. But like I used to be a lot more like that where I'd like think I was right and everyone needed to know my fucking opinion. But as I'm getting older, I'm like, you know what, dude, let people do their own thing and I don't need to correct everybody because
Mm,
they're gonna learn for themselves unless somebody wants my opinion. Then I'll be like, here's why you're
yeah,
losing weight, bro. Yeah.
yeah. That's my exact outlook as well now. Yeah, because at the end of the day, experience is the best teacher. You can tell someone something many times, but if they can only really learn from feeling or experiencing that thing. But
Yeah.
yeah, I was going to say as well. So what about all right, training fasted or not training fasted? What's better?
I personally have not noticed much of a difference.
Yeah, I would say the same.
That's like my personal anecdotal experience. I know some people who are like, I need to have a meal or two in the system and blah blah blah. But like I personally sometimes I feel like I almost have better workouts fasted.
Mm, yeah,
Sometimes.
because yeah, I would say because I think I used to convince myself that I needed to eat something beforehand, but then when I would actually go and do it, I realized I was like, actually, at the end of the day, this feels pretty similar, and I think it was
Yeah.
just more of a psychological thing. And to be honest, at the end of the day, I think most people who stress about whether or not they should do a fasted workout in the morning, they're not really fasted because they had dinner the night before and
Exactly.
then
Yeah,
there's that.
exactly,
So you
man.
have yeah, and I think a lot of people forget that.
Yeah, it's like we probably have some undigested food, and then we also have a lot of like stored muscle glycogen, and protein takes a little while to break down as well. So we've got some protein and we've got some muscle glycogen in our system, and we've got calories to pull from in our body fat stores. So I think where like it may matter more whether you're training fasted or not is once you start getting super lean, and
Yeah.
then your workouts might suck if you're training fasted. Like if you're down to like 10% or less body fat as a male, um and probably like 16% or less as a female, you might want to have some food in your system before you train.
Yeah, for sure. But but otherwise, I really enjoyed this conversation. I was gonna, but and for some podcasts, when I remember, I do like to play a little bit of an underrated, overrated game at the end. I think it's just quite fun. So
Okay.
I've got about 9 or 10 different points here. They're pretty. Some are fitness related, some aren't fitness related, and I'm just gonna ask you if you think they're overrated or underrated. You can say why.
Okay.
All right. So first one, omega-3 and multivitamin.
Underrated.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would agree as well because I've met a few people who like to shit on them and say they're just a waste of money, but I think
Omega 3s like fish oil.
yeah.
Oh man, I think that's one of the most like research supplements next to creatine. So I think everyone should be taking a omega-3 supplement for sure. For
Mm,
sure. 100%.
yeah, I would say the same. And at the end of the day, you're not gonna lose more than I was gonna say a few quid, few dollars, depending on where you are in the world.
Sure.
Yeah, and a lot like for what most people will spend, I don't know, more money on a cocktail in one night than, and you could probably get the same amount of, I don't know, for the same amount of money, you could probably get like 3 months worth of omega-3. So
Exactly. Dude, it's cheap. It is cheap.
yeah,
And you don't need to get like the highest quality fish oil in the world. Like some of it's really expensive, and I think that's just marketing and gimmicks mostly. I think if you can find one that has roughly 3 to 5 grams per serving, that's gonna be like the sweet spot.
yeah, man.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Quest protein bars.
Oh, dude, those are so overrated now.
Oh,
They,
really? I haven't had them
yeah.
for years.
Okay, so it depends which Quest protein bar. If it's the original one, overrated. If it's the new Quest Hero bars, those are underrated because
Oh,
those
what's that?
the Hero ones, they have like the crispy rice wafers in the middle.
Oh
So
man, that just sounds so good.
it's almost like a Rice Krispie treat covered in chocolate,
That's me
and
all over, man.
somehow it has 20 grams of protein in it. I don't know.
Okay, I know
But
what I'm getting when I go to Texas.
and dude, they're only like 150 calories, which
That's
is crazy.
insane. Yeah, I'm
It's
getting that. I'm
crazy.
fucking up
Yeah.
yours, man. I haven't had them
They
for years just because I haven't had access to it.
the old ones are kind of like they're like dry and chewy now, and they don't taste as good anymore. I don't know if they changed their formula or what, but yeah, I like the Quest Hero ones if you can find them. Those are the best ones.
Hmm. All right. Starbucks.
Starbucks. Starbucks coffee or Starbucks food? Starbucks
Well,
coffee.
I
Okay.
feel like most people don't go for food. I'll just say like,
Right. As a whole,
hmm.
I think overrated. And the reason I say overrated is because I just make coffee at home, man. I don't
Yeah,
spend $4 or $5 every time I go and get some coffee. Like to me, that's an expense that you'd be much better off saving that. And like if
omega
you do
three.
that multiple times per week, dude, that's your
Omega
personal
three.
training that you could be paying for, or
That's
that's
yeah.
yeah,
It's true.
or
It's
that's
true. It's true.
that's a whole week's worth of groceries or something, whatever.
Yeah, I've never really been to Starbucks. When I was living in Japan, I did. There was a time there was a phase in Japan where I was going quite consistently, but I just found it was a really good place to study because they had Wi-Fi and I was doing my masters at the time.
Yeah.
But before and after that, I never went again.
It's a good place to crank out some articles if you really want to get on your grind mode. Order a venti
mm,
coffee and just get on your grind.
Dunkin Donuts.
Dude, I've never had Dunkin' Donuts. So
Oh shit!
I'm gonna say underrated because I've never had it.
I don't think an American existed that's never had Dunkin Donuts.
Well, that's East Coast. Yeah, I think
Oh
Dunkin' Donuts is
really?
only on the East Coast. Yeah, I think so. I
I
think
did
it's
not know
mainly
that.
Yeah, I think it's mainly East Coast.
So what's bigger in the West Coast? Like the like the equivalent.
Starbucks is everywhere, but um we don't really have anything that great, like as far as coffee shops that are a
But
chain like that. So, yeah.
so wait, this is the British coming out in me. So wait, so Dunkin Donuts is I know they're very known for their coffee, but I thought it was like more of a donut place.
Yeah, I think it's both. I think a lot of people go there and they get like their daily donut or breakfast sandwich and then they get a coffee. So it's like I know they have a very well-known coffee that like people only like Dunkin' Donuts coffee. They don't like getting their coffee anywhere else.
Okay.
Kind of like Starbucks, the way that people are so crazy with Starbucks. They're like, I don't like any other kind of coffee. Some people are like that with Dunkin' Donuts. But like I said, man, it's mostly East Coast, so I've never had it.
Yeah.
Next time I'm out in New York, for sure, I need to go do that. I don't know why I didn't get any last time I was out there. I was out there for like a month, didn't get any.
Yeah, because when I was in New England, I saw Dunkin' Donuts everywhere, but I never thought that it was just like where I was. Maybe like they didn't have it everywhere in the country.
Yeah, well, they at least don't have it where I'm at. They might have some in Duncan. They might have some on the West Coast, but not where I'm at.
Okay.
Yeah.
Isn't I feel like because I've heard everyone. This is me going on some whole other tangent that has nothing to do with anything. I heard that Chick-fil-A is a. I think they only have that's big. Everyone talks about
Yeah.
that, and I'm so curious to try it now. But is that only in a certain part of the country?
Um, Chick-fil-A. So they're opening more locations on the West Coast now.
Okay.
Um, so that I actually have one in my town now. It opened up last year, and it's good, man. It's good.
I'm good. I need to
Uh,
try it.
I really love the waffle fries and the spicy chicken sandwich is really good. But something that's really, really good there is they have these fresh baked chocolate chip cookies that are like insanely good.
You know what? The food in America is so good.
Yeah, that's why we have an obesity problem.
Yeah, I can. You know what? Yeah, I can. Because you know, I'll never forget that when I lived, I love my cereal.
Yeah.
And that's something like I've just always eaten throughout my life in England growing up. I would have different boxes, I'd love them all. But I'll never forget that when I lived in America, I remember seeing when I was living on campus, they used to provide cereal. And I used to see some of the same brands I saw at home. I didn't, there was some I'd never tried before, but I remember, for example, there was Cookie Crisp.
Yeah.
Cookie Crisp. So I love Cookie Crisp. I'm gonna have some Cookie Crisp. Anyway, so I have this Cookie Crisp, and the Cookie Crisp in the US tastes 100% tastes different. And
Really?
the difference I could tell, it tasted, I could taste it was so much more sugary to the
Yeah, we
point
have
the
more
flavor
sugar.
was,
Yeah.
I felt like to the point the flavor was almost ruined.
Yeah.
And I sound like this super passionate about Cookie Crisp right now, but that was just like one example of many.
Oh man, I mean, Americans are crazy for cereal, bro. Like
I can join you on that one though.
you go to the grocery store here in the US and we have like a whole aisle full of cereal.
I remember growing up always seeing Lucky Charms on like computer games, and I was always curious to
Hmm.
try it. And when I first tried it, I was really disappointed. I didn't think it tasted that great. Yeah.
Anybody that doesn't live in the US, they're like, "Oh man, you guys got all that cereal." Like I know I have some friends that live in Australia and they're like, "Oh man, I wish we had the cereal selection that you guys had."
No,
And
this is
we have also the another thing that the US kind of has is like we have so much low calorie foods
Right.
that like I know the UK and other countries they just don't have the same. Even Canada, like we have so many low calorie amazing products in the US. So,
The US has really, yeah, I think the US is really good for that as well. US is really good for sports supplements.
yeah.
Yeah, it's really good there because Portugal, I don't think it's quite behind in all of that. And the options are there, but they're very few. And I know if I went to a supermarket in America, I would have just so much to choose from.
Well, you're coming soon. Aren't you coming to Texas?
Yeah, next month, man, I'm excited. I'm about to get myself some Quest Hero bars, and I can't wait.
Dude, I think they have them in they'll have them in Texas for sure.
That and Chick-fil-A.
You got to go check out Whataburger in Texas.
Waterburger.
Yeah, WHATA burger, like Whataburger.
WHATA.
Yeah,
Waterburger.
like Whataburger. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's like the burger chain in Texas that's really really popular and
Uh,
everybody loves it. I've never had it, but next time I go to Texas, I'm definitely gonna try it.
yeah. Oh man, I
Yeah.
think I'm gonna just come back double the size. Uh,
Oh yeah, there's so much good barbecue in Texas, man. If you like barbecue.
yeah, yeah, definitely. Oh man, you know what? I've been like trying to like lean out slowly for months now, just because I kind of I know that in Texas I'm gonna really enjoy food.
Yeah, yeah. You're doing the pre-cut before the bulk.
Yeah. Diet soda.
Yeah, diet soda.
I like it.
I think
Underrated or overrated?
I think it's underrated, man. Especially for fat loss. Diet soda is better for you than regular soda for sure. For
Mm.
sure.
Yeah, for fat loss, definitely 100%. And yeah,
Yeah.
safe. Yeah. Battle ropes.
Overrated, man.
Yeah,
Those I hate those. I hate those, dude.
yeah, yeah.
I'm not a fan. I honestly don't know like what they'd be good for other than conditioning, like
Yeah.
cardio conditioning. Because
Mm.
people are like, "Oh man, my arms are burning or my shoulders are burning," but you're like, that doesn't really mean anything.
Just, I think people love chasing. I think just like they like chasing that feeling of being sweaty and stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
even though it might not mean much. Facebook.
Facebook. I think Facebook is making a comeback, dude.
Yeah, I feel like that as well. But then I don't know if it's just like, are we in a bubble and that's why we think,
Yeah.
or is it like
But
because I still feel like a lot of the people I speak to, they're just like, no one uses that.
I also feel like uh all social media is overrated.
Yeah, I can.
That's where I'm at is like, dude, if I could run my business without being on social media,
That would be lovely.
that'd be way better for my mental health. You know what I mean? But
Definitely.
unfortunately, that's the way it is. So I make the best out of it. You know, I meet cool people like yourself and, potential clients, and I try to help people and I try to do the best I can on there. And I try to honestly just post and then get off because I don't want to be spending all day consuming on social media. It just doesn't do anything. It doesn't add anything to my life. It takes away from my life.
Yeah, you're right, and I think
Yeah.
that's been something I've been trying to get better at as well. Uh,
One
all
thing
right.
I've been doing, a real quick side note,
Uh,
is on iPhone. I don't know if you have an iPhone,
mm-hmm.
but
We do, yeah.
on iPhone, you can put a widget on your home screen for screen time.
Okay.
So it's right in front of your face. You can see how much time you spent on your phone that day. And, it's easy for me to rack up 3, 4 hours of screen time without even noticing it. But right now I can see I'm at almost 2 hours on my phone today. So I'm trying to set a daily limit of around 2 hours. So that's kind of my cue. Okay, dude, you've been on your phone enough. Now you need to go do something else.
I'm gonna do that after this
Yeah.
podcast.
Yeah.
Jeff,
Yeah.
man, yeah, you've helped. That's a good bit of advice.
Yeah.
Uh, now, I had a question because I actually is again just English ignorance coming out. Is Olive Garden an Italian chain in the US, like chain of?
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Yep.
Okay, overrated or underrated?
Overrated, 100%.
I've never been there. I don't know what it's like.
I'm half Italian, so my My mom is Sicilian, so she growing up, I always had really, really good Italian food. She was an amazing cook, where I got a lot of my skills from. Uh, she taught me how to cook pretty much when I was a kid. She so I had like home cooked really good Italian food growing up, and then I went to Olive Garden for the first time and I was like, what is this shit? It tasted like everything was just microwaved and frozen,
Mm.
and I didn't like it. A lot of people love it. Um I think if you do go there, I like getting the unlimited salad, soup, and breadsticks, because like you get unlimited amounts of salad, soup, and breadsticks for like I don't know how much it is now, like $12 or something.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I can't. Yeah, I'm gonna have to admit you put me off ever going now. Yeah. If I see it, I'm not gonna lie. I'll just get flashbacks.
Good. I just saved you a lot of gross meals.
Um. All right. Two more fitness watches, like or smart watches, fitness trackers, whatever you want to call them.
I'd say they're properly rated, and the reason I think that is because I I think you do just as well with like a pedometer to track your steps, but I like having it on my wrist just so that I can track my sleep. I can track my daily activity, and that's just a good reminder. Like I'm looking down and I see I'm at 3,500 steps. I'd like to get somewhere around 7,000, so it's good to have that little reminder on my wrist to remind me to stay active. And I have noticed since I got this that that I have been getting a lot more steps lately.
Yeah, because I feel I've taken a break from mine for the first time in years, and although I felt like I did need to take a break from it. I feel like my steps probably have declined, but it's not something I'm too fussed about in this period of my life because I know it's not non-existent. I know I'm still getting
Yeah.
enough. Um,
Yep.
all right, last one, the Big Mac.
Big Mac. Oh, I haven't had a Big Mac in years, man. I'm gonna say I'm gonna say they're underrated. They're a damn good burger, and I used to love them as a kid. So definitely underrated. I haven't heard enough people talk about them lately.
Yeah, I guess just loads of other things are popping up nowadays.
Yeah.
But yeah, otherwise that's everything done. Jeff, it was really good speaking to you and having a catch up because I think I jumped on your podcast. When was it? It was a few months ago.
It was like last year, I think, late last year.
November maybe,
Yeah.
about that. Maybe even October.
Yeah,
Um
that was a good episode too, man.
yeah, fun. But
Yeah.
otherwise, oh, what, were you gonna say something?
No, I was gonna say, man, thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it. This was fun.
Yeah, it was a good chat. Where can people find you? You can plug your stuff.
Yeah, on Instagram at Jeff Pachtman Fitness, and then you guys can find me on YouTube, Chef Jeffrey's Kitchen. And then my podcast is called Progress Not Perfection, and that's pretty much it. I'm mostly active on the podcast. That's like my main place where I hang out.
Yeah, I've been listening to a few of your episodes recently. I really like the one with Kim.
Kim Schlag, yeah, dude, she's an amazing wealth of knowledge when it comes to menopause and postmenopausal, perimenopausal weight loss. She knows a lot about that stuff. So I wanted to have her on talk about that.
Yeah, that was a good episode. I have one with Susan coming up, which I'm really looking forward to.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I need to get Susan out here too, man. Yeah, she's amazing. So yeah, if you guys are listening, go check that one out for sure. That one's
Yeah,
gonna be very, very good.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna post this one first, but then when that one does come out, I'm excited for it as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're listening on Jeff's side, then yeah, you can reach me at Leo Alves PT on Instagram. I would spell it out, but I'm just gonna leave all the hyperlinks in the show notes. That'll be even easier. And yeah, this podcast. These are the two places I'm most active on right now. It does change. I've got a lot of articles and YouTube videos, a few YouTube videos as well, but that's growing. But otherwise, again, Jeff, thank you so much for coming on. Really appreciate that. And otherwise, take care, man.
All right, man. Thanks for having me.